like to bring to the stage Nikola. Quick little introduction. He's currently a grad student at Drake University, and he is in love with TED, TED.com. If you're not familiar with it, go check it out. It's awesome. It's kind of similar to this, but kind of different because this is kind of bottom up, and that's top-down inspiration. And he certainly urges you to take a look. He's an advocate for youth empowerment through the creation of enriching experiences that include creative reflection, community involvement, and technology. After graduating from University of Iowa in 2008, he has enjoyed connecting with other passionate and realistic optimists within the community and always looking for a good personal story. So let's give him a round of applause.
Hello, my name is Nikola. I would like to share with you what I'm passionate about, which is environment, but specifically how it's made and what thoughts we put into the environments we create. So, there's my explanation. Clear as mud, right? So, in the next 19 slides, I hope to make more sense. Before I continue, I'd like to ask you a question. How many of you see the glass half full? How many of you see the glass half empty? We're able to think about this question because we feel safe. We have food, we have our basic human needs met. When we don't have them met, this question becomes irrelevant. This level of thought is not important. Luckily, I feel pretty good today, so I see the glass half full with room for change. Change is innovation. What do we need to change? How we see environment. I think environment affects how youth view themselves and how they view relationships around them. I think environment, the aesthetics of environment, also affects relationships. The third thing, environment can tell us how communities view relationships. So who creates environment? Well, if you look around, it's you and I. It's where we go shopping, which organizations we support, which events we support, but we need to go deeper. If we ask ourselves, what do I see the potential of youth being? That answer is reflected in our communities. So, I'm going to wait for my slides to change. How does environment affect us? You're born in an environment. You participate in an environment which creates experiences and values. From those experiences and values, you're able to tell stories. We all tell stories. We tell stories about diversity, sexuality, etc. And the type of stories you tell shape the next environment people are born into. So environment's interesting. This is Iowa Youth's, or environment. This is from Iowa Youth Survey 2008, and it says, do school adults stop bullying? 45% of students say no. Do I get bullied? Students say 56% say yes. Do I have supportive neighborhoods? 56% of Iowa students say no, I don't have a supportive neighborhood. So what can we do about this? We can give our youth a voice. We can create an environment that expects more from our Des Moines youth. I believe that every youth has a purpose and a story. How they achieve and realize that purpose and story is through connecting to their families and communities. When our kids are disengaged, they tell themselves stories that are negative, which hinder their possibilities. But we can't treat them as adults, because when we do that, they lose what it means to be young. So what can you do? Think about what life has taught you. What do you want to teach youth? And what can youth teach you? What environment do we need to create to have this type of dialogue? And if it already exists, how are you a part of it, or how are you supporting it? It's kind of like this event, right? We need to create pockets of reflection. Youth need to think about, what is happiness? What is my moral compass? You can be happy by having an iPad, a BMW, and a six-pack, like the situation. But is this long-term sustainable happiness? Or is what societal relationships you get out of these items that's really what we're after? And if that's the case, how else can we get it? I'm going to push you further. I believe that every human being on this planet is connected through the desire of fulfilling basic human needs. But how we fulfill them is what's unique and different about us. I think same thing with you. Sometimes we get stuck on labels, like black or white, abled or disabled. But when we're able to respectfully look past these labels, I think we can let youth represent the labels instead of labels that represent the youth. Now, I did a little experiment using Facebook. I asked 123 people a question, which was, what problems in the future do you think youth will face? Thinking that no matter where people are in the world, their answers will be the same. That's exactly what happened. 88 people responded from Qatar, all the way from different parts of Des Moines. Those were their answers. One respondent was named Ahmed Rashid Salim, and he wrote, we can't sit quietly. Why can't a quiet moment be an adventure? No, we have to always be on the computer or the phone. It's quite interesting to observe our generation when we're together. We at times spend more time on our phone than we invest in the person sitting across the table having dinner with us. Some people say this is impossible. What I'm talking about is ridiculous. I'm an idealist. I also think some people said that building a road that connects one end of the country to the next is impossible. Building a rocket to explore Mars is impossible, yet it did happen. Somebody believed it, right? I think we can do the same thing for Des Moines youth. And how we can do that is by checking out TED.com. I don't get paid for that. Dowser.org. We can check out organizations like Cultural, which teach cultural competency, ChildServe, Iowa Pride Network, Community Youth Concepts, just to name some. We can identify youth like Indira, who works full-time, goes to school, and is in charge of 2 after-school programs, and we can support her. We all have different talents she can use. Nick Kinkle is another respondent from Facebook, and he said that community is not something that just happens or simply is. It is something that has to be actively cultivated with each new generation. A question he poses is, how do you open minds that are already closed at such a young age? That question can apply to so many things. I have an answer to that, hopefully. We can start individually. We can ask ourselves, what do I think about youth? How can they contribute to this society in a positive way? You can connect that vision to somebody else, and you guys can find common purpose. From there, you can take positive action, realistic action, which is the key word here. So you can start with Des Moines, influence Iowa, influence the country. Ha! Now, I want you to think about some objections. I know some of you were like, oh, whatever, that's not going to work because of this. I want you to focus on that. I have these balloons that represent these objections. Here's one for you. Here's one for you, Mom. And here's one for you, because you look pretty quiet right now. So, think about these objections. Hold your balloon up, and let me ask the audience a question. How many of you believe that you can make a positive change? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you believe you can change environment? How many of you believe that we need to engage our youth because they are the best natural resource? Who believes youth is a natural resource? What people will see in their balloons is a little foreign present, because when we overcome obstacles, you get little presents. They're natural consequences or they're consequences that we create. I also tried to show that a small group of people can make a difference. It only takes a couple of people to cause positive change. So, I want you to think about environment because it does affect how youth view themselves and the relationships around them. You were young once. They're going to grow up and create the next environment. Let's make it the best for them. Thank you.